Evening, everyone. Today, our leader analysis, we're going to be talking about Galen Weston Jr. Okay? Isn't that right, Mike?
That's right.
Now, he doesn't like to be called that. He prefers to be called GG, but we're not going to call him that. We're going to call him by his full name, Gillard Galen Garfield Weston II. When you hear that name, Mike, what does that make you think of?
Makes me think of a lot of things, including Loblaws, actually.
Really? Okay, so we're going to be talking about this guy. He's a grocery mogul. He was until very recently, he was the CEO of Loblaws, but he still is in a position. He's the chairman of the board. Okay, and he's also the head of the Weston Group. He's the chairman of the board for that as well. So he brought us everything from pricey butter to $25 gift cards in the Great Bread price fixing scandal.
Yeah, born in Dublin on December 19th, 1972, our guy Galen was part of the Weston family. That's Canada's third richest family. And like every kid growing up in the 0.1%, as we all know, clearly, he eventually ended up in the elite Upper Canada College in Toronto. Not only did he ace his classes, but he also organized a bunch of school events. Yay.
Yeah, this guy was a star athlete, apparently. Apparently he's really into polo. And he's definitely a theater kid. So he loves drama and going into the arts and that. This guy, he doesn't seem like he's very charismatic to me. He was born into, as you said, the third richest family in Canada. So this guy was born to be leader of this huge grocery conglomerate. Now, just because he was born with the right last name, does that mean that he's really good at being a leader? We don't think so. Mike, what do you say?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was the only investment banking analyst at the Salomon Brothers in the UK. So, I mean, he's got that going for him. But, hey, who doesn't want their finances managed by the guy who organized prom? You know, like that's, I don't know. Anyway, he started his career in investment banking before heading back into the family business, right? So there's a baseline, kind of. But it's all still, given to him, is what it's saying.
Yeah, exactly, because he was born into this, right? Now, I forgot to mention, after you said he went to UCC, then he went and did his undergrad at Harvard, of course. Of course, why not? Why wouldn't you go,
That's what I'm saying.
Who doesn't go to Harvard? So then he goes to Columbia to do his MBA, as you would, right?
Of course.
Got to have the best education because you're born into the third richest family in Canada. What else do we got here? Okay, him and his buddy founded a company called Spoke Productions in 2004, which is setting up plays and theater in different cities all around North America. And then they founded The Spoke, which is a private club in Toronto which caters to the art theater loving crowd. Okay? When you're here to a grocery empire, you need a club for artists to remind you that not everyone drinks champagne on weekends.
Okay. That's true though. Greg, you got a point. But the grocery world eventually came calling to our charismatic leader, or, as he tries. But by 2006, Loblaws, the family's retail giant was stumbling. Supply chain woes, big losses, the works. With a 9.5 billion company on the line, Galen Jr. jumped in, fresh from the board of directors. Imagine the pressure. Hey, Galen, no biggie. Can you save maybe this $9 billion? Just a little bit. Could you do that for us? Just see what you can do,
He's got a supply chain crisis. Okay, you're brand new. You have no real leadership experience. Just jump on in, right? You got the right last name, Apparently Loblaws is all about nepotism.
That's what they say.
5th generation, it's run by this family. Anyway, so he gets in, and they're like, yeah, you got to fix everything, okay? Now, we don't know exactly what type of leader he is, okay? We tried to come up with as much we could on his leadership style. We believe he's more of a transactional leader. He tries to use charisma as much. This guy is notoriously camera shy, and he hates media scrutiny. but we did watch a whole bunch of videos of this guy, okay? So it was a bit hard to find out information about him, but we tried our damn best, okay? Mike, what do you think?
Well, of course, he had his work cut out for him, and when we see these different videos, Greg's got a point. It's very difficult when he's trying to deflect and very much PR-oriented and trying to find some sort of consistency in the things that he's saying. It seems transactional in nature purely by how he interacts with not just his customers, but his employees. By 2016, he climbed up to CEO of George Weston Limited, apparently, too.
Nice.
The parent company, much like his parents bringing him into the company, of course. And then by 2020, just as he succeeded his father as the controlling shareholder of the Whittington Investments, COVID hit. I don't know if you knew that. COVID hit during that time.
What?
Crazy times. That's when things got interesting, or shall I say, scandalous.
Anyway, before we get more into it, let's watch a clip of Mr. Weston here talking.
And when it comes to retail, kind of as Amanda mentioned, it feels like today we have more uncertainty than we have had in our industry, in our business, than ever before. So how do I feel about that? What am I sort of thinking about that? I thought it was a really good question. The reality is I'm super excited, super motivated, because of what's possible, because of where the industry is headed, where technology is going to take us, and ultimately what I believe Loblaw can do in the face of all of that opportunity. So when you think about this era of disruption, and if you fast forward sort of 5, 10, 15, or maybe 20 years, I ask myself, what will I be excited by? What will I be motivated by? What will I be proud of if Loblaw has had the opportunity to accomplish something? What's possible? So what I wanted to do this morning was just share a few of the things that really keep me motivated, the things that cause me to bounce up out of bed in the morning to go out and try and figure out whether or not we can solve.
And we're back! So, what'd you think about that clip of Mr. Weston Jr. there?
I don't know.
Does he seem really charismatic to you?
No.
No, he tries to be charismatic.
No, he does.
But he's not.
No.
Okay? I mean, so this guy, he doesn't adapt his leadership style to certain scenarios, to the circumstances he's faced. He's always trying to follow a script. He never gets emotional, so that's in his favor. He's very polite, but he's kind of soft-spoken, which isn't necessarily a good thing for a leader. So he's always thanking people when he's asked questions in the media. Like I said, he doesn't like to talk to the media. He tells them it's a good question, and then he proceeds to give a long diatribe answer and not answer the question. It's almost as if he's following a script. So he's always deflecting and disassociating himself from any hard questions that are being asked of him. Such as when he's being asked some hard questions in Parliament by NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. Let's take a look.
Grocery chains operate with extremely small profit margins, which means we have minimal influence on inflation. On a customer's $25 grocery basket, we earn just $1 in profit. That means even if the industry had zero profits, a $25 grocery bill would still cost $24.
How much profit is too much profit? At a time like this, when Canadians literally are saying that they are struggling, how much is too much then? Like for you, is there no limit to how much profit you can make? On the backs of Canadians that are struggling because they can't afford the groceries, there's no limit?
Reasonable profitability is an important part of operating a successful business. I think at $1 out of $25 of sales, that's reasonable profitability.
And we're back. So, quite an interesting circumstance we have before ourselves, don't we? But there's more to this scandal that's going on. Isn't that right, Greg?
Yeah, there is. So, during the COVID pandemic, there was a pay scandal that involved Loblaws. Now, Loblaws upped the pay for their frontline workers by $2 an hour. Not bad, huh? I mean, everyone's scared to death of COVID going around, the whole world, and these people got to go to work, and they don't know what's going on, just like the rest of us, right?
That's true.
So that sounds pretty good. But then, They slashed it back a few months later. He's like, no. Our workers, they don't need that pay. Forget that. I'd rather be putting that in my pocket. Let's roll back those prices.
Makes no sense. Why are you going to be giving and then taking? It's a back and forth that's just ruining the relationships between the business owner and the employees.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Now, by rolling back the prices, it's like, thank you for your contribution, but you guys are not really worth this. They'd rather just line their pocketbooks as well as their shareholders and just put the money back into the company, which is one of the things he kept saying on Parliament Hill. He's like, the money doesn't go to me. It goes back into the company so we can open up more stores across the country. Just what we need, more Loblaw stores and their affiliates that charge people extremely high prices. Because don't forget, this guy is the face of food inflation in Canada. That's not according to me, that's according to the Globe and Mail.
Yeah, and he even said about Twitter, like no matter how many times you read it on Twitter, the idea that grocers are causing food inflation is not only false, it's impossible, which is not true.
Yeah, he doesn't respond well when people are bringing up concerns.
No.
In fact, one of his quotes was, well, I'm paraphrasing this, was, the people angry at the food prices was misguided. Way to address your critics and say like, no. You're wrong, and I'm right. And just don't pay attention to our record high share prices and our record high profits. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, he's like a comedian to blame the audience for not laughing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, geez. So the best part is when Loblaw's profit margin was just, he said it was $1 for every $25 a basket that they sell. That's $1 of profit.
Yeah.
I would argue that that is too much because that means they're paying all their costs, they're paying everything, and then suddenly they're making all this money. And that's why they're generating like, I think it's over $1 million of excess profits a day is what Jagmeet Singh was saying. Okay? How much profit is too much? That's crazy.
And that's not the only thing people question him about either. Remember when he brought up Australia's grocery code as an example, saying it would raise prices? An Australian reviewer called him out, actually, saying his facts were incorrect, and Canadian food suppliers and grocers were quick to jump in on that one. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, he was arguing, well, his company was arguing with the feds for years over this national grocery code. And finally, just this year in 2024, they agreed to sign on. And that was because the party in power decided, oh, we'll just legislate you, okay? And also because of all the backlash online with the 2024 May boycott, okay? Now, there's also the bread price fixing scandal of 2017. Okay, let me get my facts here right. Loblaws and George Weston Limited admitted to colluding on bread prices and offered customers a $25 gift card as compensation. Just like Oprah giving out cars on her show, Galen was handing out bread coupons. Now, that is ridiculous. So they artificially raised up the prices of bread, and then they're like, oh, just to make it up for you, you can have a $25 gift card. Well, one, I don't shop at Loblaws. Where's my $25?
Yeah.
Also, I don't want a gift card. That doesn't cost them much.
And if you think about it, 25 is not covering much, not even just bread these days. But hey, I guess it was something. Like he did publicly apologize in July. You know, this behavior should never have happened, is what he said.
That's great. Did he put the bread prices back down?
Well, that's a different question.
Doesn't sound like too good for him, man. I mean, this guy's trying to be transactional, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll reward our customers. We're sorry about this, but we're still going to keep bread prices high. We're going to reward our employees, but then we're going to take it away. So he's trying to be a transactional leader, but he's failing miserably at it. Every time he offers something, he's like, no, that's bad for me and my company. Jeez.
Yeah.
Moving on from scandals to philanthropy. Philanthropy? Really? Galen's family is no stranger to giving. Now, I think he does this just to try and make himself look good because he's got a real bad PR problem.
Wow.
He's like donating to the ROM. He's donating to the Weston Brain Institute. Wow,
Well,
named after him too. And he donated to the Trans-Canada Trail. Not bad for a family once accused of squeezing customers on bread prices, right? I mean, you got all that extra money.
Why not spend it? But that also would likely go to his taxes, right? So it's all of these things that are also still coming back to benefit him. Now, that's not for nothing in terms of money, but it's still benefiting him in other ways.
Of course, it's all about benefiting him and his company and his family. Once again, third richest in Canada. Okay, they need more money. They're trying to move up in the ranking there, right?
Yeah.
And don't forget, what do rich people do with their money?
What do they do?
Donate to conservative think tanks. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Because it's all about getting rid of social spending to help out people, and it's all about reducing taxes and regulation on the rich because they have it so tough. You know what I'm saying?
It is so tough out here to be rich.
Yeah, because we know. Jeez.
But hey, maybe that's the secret. Support the system so it supports you. But let's talk about leadership style, Greg. His poise, undeniable. He kept cool even under intense questioning with responses like, "We aim for reasonable profitability." I mean, who doesn't want a reasonable profit? I do. So I'd say he's definitely a transactional leader like we've been saying. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and he's also extremely evasive. Whenever it comes to questions on inflation, he has classic defense. Blame someone else. So it's that deflection that I was mentioning earlier, okay? He's using the 9 Ds, okay? You know who else is big for this, Mike? Big Tobacco. So he's using the same playbook as Big Tobacco. Deny, deflect, disassociate, disillusion, discredit, all kinds of things, okay? He's doing that. So he's saying, no, I'm just the grocery guy. It's the supply chain that's ruining it, okay? Not their record profits. I don't see record profits for companies in the supply chain. What do you think?
Well, I agree. He does have that edge and looks desperately for that profit. Well, I guess some would call it evasive. Others might say, actually, evasive does sound right, in fact.
Evasive and deflecting.
Despite that, he's still the chairman, or was the chairman, of Loblaws. Even stepped down as president in 2023, but kept his top spots after the heat the company got after that scandal. So, what do you think?
This guy and this company has a big PR problem, and I'm thinking that's why he had to step down as CEO of Loblaws. Don't get any illusions here. This guy is not hurting at all. He's probably doing this so that it's better for the company, okay? And once again, he doesn't like media scrutiny, okay? He doesn't want reporters asking him tough questions about all his millions or billions of dollars and his huge estate up there in Vaughan and his fleets of cars. You know, he doesn't want people bothering him when he's on the way to the country club to go meet Chip and Biff for his golf tee-off time. I mean, come on, that's just a hassle. True. Do you want to put up with that? I wouldn't want to put up with that on my way to the country club.
Not with my boys Chip and Biff, that's for sure.
So, nepotism or not, he's still holding his ground, okay?
Yeah.
Can he keep people happy? Well, everyone's pissed off at him, right? So, there's the recent calls to boycott Loblaws' own stores. So not just Loblaws, anything they own. Loblaws, Superstore, the Atlantic Superstores, Zehrs, Shoppers Drug Mart, No Frills. You know, personally, I agree with this movement myself, but that's just my own thoughts there. The Reddit group demanded a 15 price cut and elimination of members-only pricing of Loblaws. They're the ones who organized this nationwide boycott.
Yeah, and the boycott didn't even stop there. The group extended it indefinitely. Apparently, Galen Jr. is now more infamous in Canadian households than the soaring cost of a dozen eggs.
Yeah, which goes back to why he's the face of food inflation. And there were so many memes and hilarious things put online about him. We're going to put some of them up on the screen here. Have a look at these while we're talking. My favorite is the parody of the Obama Hope portrait. The one that's just Galen Weston, and instead it says, starve. That's personally my favorite, okay? Which perfectly describes him as a leader. Because he's so effective, right? End of the day, he is kind of an enigma, okay? Okay? He stays away from the limelight. He doesn't want people questioning him on anything. You know, one minute he's in theater, you know, he's up on stage because he loves the theater. Now he's running Canada's largest grocery chain. Not very well, I would say. And he's trying to fend off things of greedflation and just constant and price gouging. It's ridiculous.
And that, my friends, is Galen Weston Jr.'s saga. A grocery tycoon caught between bread scandals, inflation accusations, and a knack for remaining calm through it all.
So next time you're shopping for groceries, remember, behind every price tag there's a story, especially at Loblaws, and it includes a $25 gift card to go back to Loblaws, you know, to buy some overpriced food.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and stay tuned for more noteworthy, newsworthy personalities. Maybe even one with a few apologies next time.
Take care, everyone.